What is up, guys? I am John and you are watching Johnny Fabs, and today I'm working on my Datsun project. We are starting on the front end. We are going to be making a bash bar setup for it, for behind the bumper cover. Since our bumper cover is fiberglass, we are going to make like a drift style crash bar, just for support, and if we ever did get into an accident, it'd make it a lot safer. So yeah, we're gonna get started on it. We would have bought one, but they don't make one for a Datsun 280zx, and plus we needed to make one custom since ours is a tubular front end. So we're gonna have that pick up on our custom made front end. So we're going to be using 1.5" tubing, mild steel, and that should fit inside of our 1.75" tubing. I already cleaned up the inside because there's that one weld seam, so I cleaned that up, and the tube does fit. It is very snug, so we might have to clean it up just a little bit so it goes in and out easier, but that's going to be our idea. So I'm going to go ahead and get the bumper fitted on, just clamped with vice grips, and we can see where we're at with where we're gonna run our bash bar. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so on the stock 280zx, they had 2 shock absorbers almost in the front for the safety, and then it had this bumper support with the lights in it. So you can see in our fiberglass bumper, it has the provisions for the lights. So we will be buying some lights and making up some brackets off of our bash bar once we get it made. So you can see we got a visitor. Cut. So you can see with our intercooler, we have a gap where that fiberglass meets up right there. On the stock bumper and on the stock setup where we had this piece would go along inside up against this flat part. So that's what I think I'm going to recreate with our tubing. But the problem is this tube actually runs lower. So it actually runs like right here instead of up here. So I'm going to have to offset this to make it work inside and fit. And then I'll wrap it around and wrap it this way, and then we can make brackets for our lights. So yeah, I'm going to pull this back off, get our intercooler off, and we'll start the offset process on these tubes. As you can see, I just left them extra long when we built our front end, so I already marked it right there. We're going to cut it down, and probably cut it down even more than that. So I'm going to start doing that right now. Alright you guys, so I just went ahead and tacked those tubes on there after they've been notched, and then got the angles matching and the same distance away, and I measured off the stock cross member bolts, and so I just used that saw there to cut it, and then now I have these pieces here, which all I have to do now is notch them, but they're the right angle, and yeah, so just like that, and then we'll have our tube higher, and we'll be able to run our bash bar off of this. So yep, I'm gonna notch these out to fit nice, and then we'll weld it up, and then we'll start making our bash bar. Alright guys, so I just made up these pieces where I notched them, and then I went ahead and used a Dremel and took that weld that comes in these tubes, took that down, and then polished the inside. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Polished it. And then I also put this on the belt sander and polished this down. Just took some material off. That way these slide in and out, and I'm able to remove the bash bar if needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these welded on right here and get them spaced out properly. We'll go from there. So I just have these tacked down right now. You can see it comes up and out. This will get trimmed down. I might cut it back and leave it for support, or just put a gusset right here. And then I'll also grind these down flat and put caps on them. Everything's closed in. Same with that side. Once I get it fully welded in, I'm just leaving it tacked. That way, if we have to change anything with our bash bar, it's not fully welded in. So we're going to start making our bash bar tubes that go in, but first let's test fit the bumper. So now that I test fitted the bumper, everything looks fine. I went ahead and cut these back 1 more inch on both sides. And now I'm going to cut my 1.5 inch tubing down for my inserts. And then we'll notch those and start bending our main bar. So we started bending our tube to form around our bumper. We did start getting a kink right here just because of the setup we have, but should work alright. Just a bash bar, so it doesn't have to be shouldn't affect it too much. So we're going to start bending this side, and yeah, so it's starting to take shape. So we got our tube bent up and test fitting our bumper. You guys can see, fits pretty good, matches the shape. And then we're gonna tack it onto our frame over there, and then we'll come up with something to mount it. We might use these little push pins and drill a hole in the fiberglass, and then it'll attach to the tube. Well, we're still going to figure that out, but we'll get this test fitted on the car and go from there. Alright, so we got the bumper cover on. It looks like we're going to have to trim this down about 1/2 inch or so to get it to fit in more, because these light bosses are recessed, so it's hitting up on here. So we're just going to move this back. I'll take this off. So all we'll do is, there's still room here. We'll take this out and cut it down, then we can shove it back in. So it should come out. So obviously it's just tacked, but we'll cut this down and get it fully welded in, and should slide in and out. So we just got our bars welded on. I fully welded our little notch to raise them up, and then I started welding this on. We're going to raise the hoist up and weld it underneath, let it cool down, and it's going to be a tight fit going in and out, but that's just kind of how it is with this tube inside of the other. But once we get it finished welded, we'll drill 2 holes once we get our bumper on and we know our distance is good, we'll drill 2 holes and use bolts to secure it. So we're going to fully weld it and do that next. So I just went ahead and made up this bar right here in the middle as a jack point. That's what I'm going to use. I've seen a lot of drift guys do that. So I went ahead and did that, and I notched the bumper to fit that. I used a 90-degree bend, and then I notched it so it's offset. That way it sits in the bumper decent. And so right now I think I'm going to make up some supports that come from down here and kind of gusset this. I already went ahead and bent up this piece, and I think it's going to be like that. So I'm going to go ahead and try and fit this and get it to work. That way this has some support. And yeah, and then once we get it all done, I'll trim the bottom and make maybe a tab on the bottom for a nice jack point. So yep, we're moving along. So I just added these 2 bars in and fully welded them in, and then I also had to trim the bumper in the inside. You can see right there, cut it out, and at the bottom I beat it out too, that way it fits on there. So now I'm going to trim out this bottom piece, cut this off because we don't need that sticking way down, and I'll probably just cut it sub flush with that bumper. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright guys, so I think that's going to wrap up this video. We got the bottom here cut, and then I put a cap on it. All I got to do now is weld the cap on the other ends, but I'm not sure how long I'm going to leave those. But I think that's going to be it for this video on making this bash bar for my 280zx Datsun build. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll show you guys, let me pull the bumper off real quick and you can see it without the bumper cover on it. Alright, here's a look without the bumper cover. So pretty basic. It resembles a lot of the aftermarket, like the Street Fraction or a couple of the other companies, but they do not make one for my Z, so I decided to make this one. I think it turned out good, and I think it's going to work good as a good jack point. It's got enough support. I already tested it with the jack and nothing flexed. So I think that's going to work out great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on making my bash bar. Stay tuned for more. And please like, comment, subscribe, and peace.